Hey everybody, it's Mike Johnson back again in PWInsiderTV. We're here with Ivelisse Velez. Of course, you may know her from Tough Enough, and now she's out here on the independent scenes as the anti-diva. So, you had your time in WWE Developmental, and then now you're on the independents. Talk a little bit about the ability that Tough Enough gave you to kind of come out on the independents after kind of making your name on national TV through the reality series. Like, you had been on the independents working in Chicago, and then you went to Puerto Rico, but after all that exposure, it's a whole different world. So how much did that help change your life in terms of getting booked on the independents and kind of getting out there into business?
Well, I mean, it obviously helps a lot when it comes to payday, when you go back to the indies. Overall, as an experience, I learned a lot about like how cameras work and reality TV stuff and the interviews and just everything. That was good. Also, there's a little bit of, there's good and a negative. Negative was that unfortunately I got injured on Tough Enough, and at least thank God, that's positive. I was able to recuperate from that kind of pretty fast, at least fast enough to be able to get signed pretty quickly after WWE Tough Enough. And in developmental, on my time there, even though like quite a short time after me being there, I was told I was ready and all this stuff, but it's a process, and even if they feel you're ready, you can't just, they don't just automatically get you up there.
Right, they make you jump through hoops to see how you react and things like that.
Yeah, well, a lot of things go on. It's just the process, and I learned the hard way, about all of that, because in your mind, it's like, you go in there, you've prepared yourself for so long, and sacrificed so much to be ready when that opportunity comes, and then you're just there, and then you're kind of like, well, damn, if I'm ready, I just want to go. So you kind of get discouraged, and not only, obviously it didn't happen to me, it also happens to other indie workers that wrestled a long time, I would say, maybe Seth Rollins or Ambrose, they were there for quite a little bit, or Antonio, they were there for quite a little bit of time, and even though they might have been ready, it took a little bit, just basically getting through the process of the testing and just everything in general. But my time there was very, I appreciate, the opportunity of being there. I learned a lot when it comes to how things work backstage.
The politics game.
Yeah, all the politics and everything, which usually is kind of hard. Actually, it's the hardest part. It was like a big eye-opener for me, because even though I was ready, I wasn't ready for all the politics, and then that really that gets to your head, and that's kind of just at least that was my downfall, I guess. But I learned a lot there, and I'm still continuing to learn in terms of politics, because I learned how important it is, in that position in WWE, which is where everyone wants to go, obviously, because it's the most money you'll make, within your career or whatever. So I'm still trying to learn when it comes to that, so I can maybe one day hopefully really get a shot, and I don't have anything that will jeopardize, my opportunity to be able to, make a video.
Right. Let's talk a little bit about Tough Enough. Was it a hard shock to realize you're going to get mic'd 24/7 and basically you've got no privacy at all? Was that hard to deal with in the beginning?
Actually, no. It wasn't hard for me, all the cameras and all that stuff, being there 24/7. I didn't mind at all. I was already used to all the cameras from wrestling in Puerto Rico on TV and everything, and it wasn't. No, I really didn't care.
Were you when you were disappointed? Obviously, Kevin won. Were you disappointed when you heard he got cut and he got released? Was there kind of the feeling of, oh, that could have been mine, and someone else got it and it was wasted? Because I've heard different opinions from different people, so I'm curious what your take on that is.
Well, I can see maybe why they chose him, and actually there's a lot of things that happened that I would know why they had made that decision, but I can't necessarily say, but at the end of the day, they did, it's their show, they can do whatever they want, they can put whoever they want, make it however they want, But he was a pretty good guy. He's really hardworking. When he was in developmental after the whole thing, after the whole Tough Enough, and when he won, everyone assumed that, obviously the whole point of Tough Enough is for you to, get a contract, obviously to go to the main roster. That didn't happen because they didn't feel that he was ready. And once I caught up and got into developmental, I could kind of see what they were talking about. But he has a lot of potential. But his thing is he was just too serious. He wanted it so bad, so he was just too serious, and he kind of would cut himself off from the potential he had. But other than that, he was really hardworking and humble. So I don't.
We talked a little. You mentioned work in Puerto Rico. Obviously, in a lot of ways, that's still the last wrestling territory, people say. So what's it like going down there and working there full time?
Where?
Puerto Rico, in comparison to working the Indies up here.
Oh well, I mean, it's where I started, so it's kind of in Puerto Rico, you have a little bit of all wrestling. You have a little bit of American combined with lucha style. You have American style combined with lucha style combined with Japanese style. It's a great place to learn from. Even Sandow, when I was in developmental, he would say that a lot of times, and a lot of times when there were Q&As, he would repeat that over and over. It's a great place to learn, and I was lucky enough to be able to start off there and learn a lot my time there, and be able to come to the U.S. with that knowledge and be able to apply it to whatever else I learned while being here. I'm gonna be going again, and I'm really excited.
Are you going down for the WWC?
No.
Where are you going to be working? Because I know there's a bunch of different groups down on the island. Oh, WWL perhaps?
Something new.
So that's probably the World Wrestling League, the Hugo Savinovich group. Maybe, perhaps, maybe not.
Perhaps, maybe.
All right, a little bit of mystery there. So you're going back there. Obviously, you're dabbling a little in mixed martial arts and training in that as well. So you're kind of trying to do all sorts of different things. So what, leaving WWE, for a lot of people, when they're let go, it's oh, this is the end of the world. What do I do now? So now that you've kind of been out of there, you're starting to work indies again and doing so many different things. Where do you set your goals for 2013 as the year goes on? Is it get back there? Is it just work more places? Is it to better yourself? Where do you stand in terms of your goals? When you're there and you're gone and you reset, where do you set your goals?
That was very, very hard for me. I mean, it's exactly how you described it. You feel it's the end of the world. And I mean, especially more when you put so much into it and then you finally got it, and then because of something so small, or at least you think is so small, boom, it just vanishes. And then you're just left okay, here's 8 years of my life that, of important years of my life. And so now what,
Yeah, it's like a relationship. It's like a relationship ending.
It was very, very, very emotionally hard, and especially me being in the States by myself, me being in Florida by myself. I didn't have help from anybody. I was against my entire family throughout my wrestling career about wrestling. They thought I was an idiot for doing it, wasting my time and everything. So I put a lot into it, and it was really hard. But when I got over it, I'm the kind of person, I just keep going. No matter what, I just keep going. And in my mind, I'm just I'm just gonna do everything I possibly can to make them realize that they made a mistake. And that's what kind of fuels the fire for me to keep doing more and keep showing in every shape, try to take on as much as I possibly can and shine and all of that to prove that they made a mistake.
So what is it about pro wrestling that you love that it's so important?
I mean, I know it sounds stupid because usually a lot of people say this, but it really is all I know. I started when I was 15. I was in high school. I gave up my educational opportunities to pursue this against all odds and against all the people in my life. So it's like, it's all I have. It's kind of like all I've had throughout like all these years growing up, and like that's why I guess that's why it means so much to me. It's like it's all I have, and it's all I've ever known, like since I was 15, and it's like all the sacrifice and all the time put into to try to perfect my craft and everything to be at a certain level, to know that I can finally make it and get myself out of my situation, which was living on top of a mountain on all I could see across the ocean and having like nothing. So that's what always kept me going, and I can't, like, it's what's guided me this far as well. So I mean, that's why it means so much to me. So in 2013, my goal, like I said, is I'm getting pretty frustrated because I'm taking on so much. It's kind of like, oh my god, like now, like everyone's like trying to, like everyone wants a piece of me, so it's kind of like, oh my god, I have to take it easy and kind of take one thing at a time. But like I'm trying to take as much as I possibly can, and because I want to get it done now, because I'm still young. I'm 24. In my head, I feel like I'm 34.
Wait till you are 34.
A lot of times, like when I would talk, like I would try to get over the whole thing of WWE, trying to like restart over again. When I would talk to people, like including Steve Austin, he has been very like great. Like he's been very supportive of me since Tough Enough. And as a talent, and he wanted to say, how old are you? Like, I guess because you forget, how old are you? And I'm like 24, and he's like, oh my god, you're still a baby. And like a lot of other people, like it's like, wait, I really am. It's kind of like I've been through so much for so long and everything. Like I feel like I'm 34, but I am 24. So I just kind of like, all right, accept that I'm still 24, and like I still have a bunch of things I can still do, and I'm just trying to get it all done now. Before 5 years go by like nothing, and then I'm like, whoa, what did, so.
Well, two last questions, and I won't let you go. You mentioned your family being so against your career. After you get on Tough Enough, I don't think any guy watching this is going to complain you're taking off your jacket. I'm sorry. After, you mentioned your family being against your career. After the Tough Enough exposure and moving to the States and everything, was it easier for them to accept? Have they accepted it yet as part of who you are? Because a lot of people have different answers to that.
Yeah, unfortunately, it took me to actually make it to have their support. But
not an unusual story.
Well, but at the end of the day, like I'm just glad I have it now. I guess, I don't know. I really don't know why that happens, but at least I'm a stronger person going through that, and knowing that I don't need it's obviously always good to have people's support, but I don't need people's support in order to make it. You don't need people, like, if you believe in something and you believe in yourself enough, you can make it without having to like try to have a posse behind you or whatever. And I mean, it was hard. I'm like hard. Like there were a lot of times where I would find myself in a certain situation and I would think back and I'm like, oh my god, like what an idiot I am. What am I doing to myself? Like when I would end up in hospitals because I didn't have health insurance, because I didn't have money to pay it for myself, because I was living on my own, even though there was family all around me and they wouldn't do anything to help me. And I almost could have died, and I'm there in the hospital. So it's like, just moments like that and a bunch of other stuff. It's just like, at least I know that, when people, even my own mother, like, she'll tell me, like, you're very strong, like, I know that you didn't have the help and everything, and you made it, I'm so proud of you. And everything like that, and it's like, even though in my head it's kind of like, damn, I wish I could have had your support before, and everybody else, but like at least now that everything's said and done, like I'm just happy that, things happen for a reason, and I'm just happy that now I'm in a good place.
And you kind of get proven correct by getting that approval later on.
Yeah.
Well, I want to thank you for your time. Let everybody know where they can find you on social media, because obviously you're with Tough Enough, you obviously opened up social media accounts and things like that. And it's a big part of networking now. So let fans know where they can find you online.
On Twitter, you can find me at Real Ivelisse, and I know my name is really weird, so I'm going to spell it out. So it's at Real, RealIvelisse, and on Facebook, Ivelisse Velez. I don't know what.
All right, well, we'll track it down. We'll put the links right under this. And thank you again for your time. We wish you nothing but the best of luck. And you should knock somebody out when you make your MMA debut next month.
Oh, yeah.
All right, so until next time here on PW Insider TV, we thank you very much for your time.